the two biggest questions that we face as a lender, and if I was in their positions, I'd be asking the same questions. How quickly can I get paid, and how do I get my money?
What is the biggest thing you could say now that you do that you wish you known when you first started?
The great thing about plugging into Cross Country's platform, I don't have to be a seasoned loan officer for 25 years. Because like I said, we have an army in our new construction department, okay? They've been doing this for 30, 35 years. They got the expertise on my shoulder to say.
Welcome to the Relentless Podcast. I have a very special guest friend. We've been doing business for a lot of years together. We're growing together. You don't want to miss this one because we're going to go over things for house flippers. You're a new homeowner looking to buy a house. If you're looking to renovate your house, and what networking can do for you, because that's like the biggest thing here. You're missing the boat if you're not networking and building those long-lasting relationships. Those home runs, they may come, but you burn a relationship. It's definitely not worth it. And this isn't a person that you build a bridge with, and that bridge is so strong it takes you into the next century. So welcome, Billy Mac. Appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
And let's just get right into this, right? So you've been doing loans for mortgages for a long time, and you always take care of people. The customer's always first. Be able to basically take what it is, front load everything, make sure everything's in place before you turn in. Give us a process and like some of the people that you've handled over the years and what you've done for them.
Yeah, well, think first and foremost is, if you're looking for somebody to just do mortgages, that's not me. I'm big on the philosophy to give to get. I think people that give to get out there in this world, whatever business you're in, people are attracted to them. Also putting the customer first. A lot of people talk about putting the customer first. But let's say, Sam, you refer me somebody looking to buy a house, right? I can't automatically take that trust for granted. Even though you referred them to me, I have to build that trust with that client. And building the trust is going to start laying the foundation with relationships. And what I think I've done in my career, and I want to continue to do in my career, is building relationships.
Yeah, I love it.
Not just doing loans.
I love it. So in building relationships, tell us a funny story that, how you maybe connected with some of the people in this industry and how that's actually, you still will deal with them today.
Yeah.
Because that's important.
Well, I'm going to share the story we just talked about a little bit. It was about 8 years ago, I believe. I met a real estate agent that we're very good friends with, and I became friends through this. And I met him at a real estate party down in AC, and it was the end of the night. I got introduced to him, and I knew that he had been getting, about 14, 15 other lenders' cards that night. And I just introduced myself. I said hello. I gave my card, and I said, listen, the next transaction you can't close, call me. Sure enough, within 12 months, he called me with a renovation loan. They'd been through 2 different lenders. They couldn't close it. A lot of things went wrong. And we closed that transaction. Not only that, Sam, he introduced me to you, and you did the renovation for that project.
Oh, yeah.
So by showing value to a real estate agent, gave me another connection that I've had for 8 years now, and had your friendship along the way.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was good for me too, because, once you lock into dealing with somebody and you feel that relationship is really strong, and they have your back and you have theirs, it's really rewarding to be able to feel comfortable enough to go, I know there's going to be no issues here. Because again, I've been down the path where, hey, you sold the loan and you're out, I'll never hear from you again. And, as a contractor, if you don't know that payment's coming, or you don't feel confident, and the homeowner has all the cards, it's not a good feeling. So I've been there too, and that's why I'm like, hey, I'm not doing anything except for I have like maybe 2 or 3 people, and that's it. Like when they call me, I'm like, who's your loan officer? Yeah, no, I can't do that job.
Yeah. Well, contractors and builders, I'll talk to them, and real estate agents too. The 2 biggest questions that we face as a lender, and if I was in their positions, I'd be asking the same questions. How quickly can I get paid, and how do I get my money?
Right.
Because at the end of the day, you're doing a great job. How many projects have you done over the years? Beautiful work, right? You need to get paid to provide for your family and to run your business.
Yes.
And that's a big, big thing with self-employed people.
Right.
You're not going and, checking a paycheck, 9 to 5 job, right? So you have to constantly have money coming in as efficiently as possible to continue to grow your business. And that's something that we take pride in caring about the end result, not just trying to do a loan.
Absolutely, absolutely. So going over our processes, I mean, you've been doing this, how long have you been doing mortgages for?
It's going to be 25 years.
That's
Sam.
amazing. So, what is the biggest thing you could say now that you do that you wish you known when you first started?
I went out on my own in 2009 and became a branch manager. I wish I would have done that back in 2000. I worked for other mortgage companies, and I've been blessed along the way, Sam. I don't have any regrets. I've learned. Even going to be 50 in October. I'm still learning every day. I'm a sponge, and I'm in the trenches, and that's the biggest thing is. A lot of people try to grow their business and they take themselves out of the trenches. I'm in the trenches every day with the heartbeat of that transaction. I'm not just passing it off on to somebody else and let the dust settle.
Absolutely.
I think I know you're in the trenches every day with your stuff and
Yep.
and that's really the biggest part is staying in the trenches and getting in the fight when you have to, getting your hands dirty, and closing transactions, man.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, I think for me with the, I'll call it like a replacement ladder, it's kind of what we build up. The first thing I learned was admin, right? It's a lower cost item for me to be able to buy that person and have that person work for me, do the admin tasks.
Yeah.
Once that's done, once you get that whole thing done, now you have more time for your customer.
Yeah.
Sales, marketing, all that stuff. Then the second thing I did is delivery, like how it actually gets done. Because again, originally I did the work.
Yeah.
And I was there, the sales guy, the admin, the firefighter, the cop, you name it, I was everything. Delivery, sales, marketing, all that. It was a lot. It was definitely a lot. But I feel like once I got the admin down, once I got delivery down, and they were doing it on their own, and someone would call it out, I go and do the work myself. And then once I got that sales portion done, marketing done, I was able to build my way up to working on the business, but still jumping in. Because I tend to just naturally want to take control because I built the thing, and when you build that thing, especially when you build it around you, sometimes you become the bottleneck, so everyone has to call you too. So it's like but again, answering the phone and getting back to people, that's huge. That's huge. And then again, building the blueprint like we talked about before. When you build a house, you have a blueprint, right? Everything you do, you base off that blueprint. If you go off course, you can easily fix it because that blueprint's there. When you run a business, mortgage business, any type of business, if you don't have that blueprint to go off of, and you're just kind of winging it, you can only go so far. Sometimes you'll get, I'll call it lucky, because if you're working really hard and staying consistent, you'll slowly but surely get better, but you'll never be able to get to that goal because you haven't had one. Right? And if you aim at nothing, you'll hit it, right? Kind of the same deal with business. If you don't have something to look forward to and basically be able to work up to, you'll never get anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I'm blessed to be at Cross Country Mortgage and having a branch within that organization. I'm going to give a shout out to our CEO, Ron Limhart. He's built a company that I have an army behind me. We have a renovation department. That's all they do. Renovation underwriters. They're only underwriting renovation loans. Our new construction, we have a new construction team right behind me. That's all they're doing every day. They're helping out with draw schedules. They're helping out with the underwriting. They're making the systems more efficiently so we can close loans. So all I'm doing is plugging into the Cross Country platform. I've been here since 2016. And I'm not going anywhere. This company's growing every year. We're getting better. We're getting more efficient. We're servicing loans. We have investors coming to us buying securitizations.
That's great.
So,
That's great.
Just the growth that Cross Country's had. I'm blessed to be with this company.
Oh yeah. Plus, I think you guys have the best party in AC every year. We'll talk about it another time. But going back to I guess creating networks and then building those networks up. So for house flippers, is there anything you could do for house flippers, or not really that? More of someone basically looking.
We have fix and flips loans.
Okay.
Fix and flips. You know this better than anybody. When you have somebody that's looking to flip houses, they're traditionally using hard money, maybe their own investments. I've seen some people take home equity loans out on their houses, to try to make a project work. that's a little risky in my opinion. And the hard money becomes expensive, you know. So we talked about this, you know, at the end of the day, when you see a house that needs work and you're buying it and you're fixing it up, what are you really making the money on? You're making money on the renovations. Now you may make some resale value. You might find that $100,000 gem out there and it's really worth 200.
Sure.
But mostly, you know, you're making the money on the renovations and the after improvement, right?
Correct.
So how is that, you know, smaller contractor going to grow his business from maybe doing one transaction, you know, a month to 3 or 5?
Right.
Right? It's all about the money. Where you're getting the money, and there's a support staff to actually do the projects. That's another, you know, staffing situation. But at the end of the day, why not use our money and make connections with realtors and do a renovation loan where you're just getting paid on what you are making your money on.
Right.
Is the renovation portion of the loan.
Absolutely.
No risk to you. Now you don't have $250,000 tied up into a property, you know, you have a buyer buying that house, not utilizing your money. You do the $50,000, $75,000 in renovations, do the project within 30 days, you're getting cut. Oh, okay, you don't have the money for cabinetry or maybe some of the things that are going to take precedent in getting that project done. You know, we've cut checks directly to supply houses for cabinets or things that maybe take order, so you don't even need that money of your own to get started on the project. So it's about having conversations. Like, I think contractors and builders, they're dynamic in many ways. Some are up here and some are down here. So what fits one is not going to fit all. It's not like, you know, here's a, you know, sock and it fits, you know, from size, you know, 9 to 12.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
I'd like to have those conversations with the contractors or builders and saying, you know, what are you doing now and how can we enhance it?
Right.
If you're doing certain things and it's working for you, I'm not trying to recreate the wheel. I'm not even recreating the wheel of renovations and new construction. Renovation loan's been around for decades. It's just a lot of companies fail because they don't know how to do them.
That's
they
right.
don't know the guidelines. They don't know how to, you know, present it. And you know, from 8 years ago of our relationship, I'm the renovation guy that closes loans.
Absolutely.
You know, if we can't do it, move on to the next one.
Right.
You know, so I think that we can just enhance what a lot of the contractors are doing right now and help grow their business by utilizing our money instead of their own.
Absolutely. So I feel like on a contractor's aspect, being able to hook up with someone like you is also great too, because, you know, maybe you have a customer, they want to do new construction. They come to you for the mortgage, but then all of a sudden there's an investor special, right? They don't have to do that new construction. Well,
Yeah.
It's still going to be a win for the contractor because he's going to get to work.
Yep.
Homeowner's happy because they're going to get their dream home. And you're basically marrying puzzles of the pieces of the puzzle that weren't there before, not really an option because no one's really thought of it. Everyone thinks that investor special is only for the investors or investment only. Well, if you guys start thinking outside the box, that's how other deals get done. If everyone's eating off the same thing, I mean, there's only so much to be had, but if you start thinking outside the box, you'll never run out of work.
I mean, two things that we're up against right now. You know, rates are higher than what everybody wants. You know, they're lower than they were this time last year. I will tell you that. That's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think they're going to gradually come down. But we can't control interest rates.
Sure.
Neither one of you, you know, I have the money like Warren Buffett to dump money into the stock market and things are going to go up and down. Okay. Right. And inventory. All right. Like I was saying to you, you know, before we started this, I did a search of houses under 300,000 in Gloucester County, and it was like 142 houses. A lot of those houses could use a renovation loan, you know, and contractors don't have the time to go out and call those realtors, but I do. And if I can bring some contractors and realtors together and they can start to show people, okay, here's the house now, and here's what it's going to look like. Because people are visually, that's the internet right now, right? Everything's visual, videos, we're doing podcasts, you know. Nobody wants to see a flyer that you're posting about a product. Nobody's going to read that.
Absolutely.
But if you can take a house here and you can say, okay, here's what it's going to look like. Help that realtor market that house, what it's going to look like after the renovation loan's done.
Absolutely.
How many more buyers are you going to get on that house? Because if they're looking through, you know, even the best realtors sending, you know, listings through MLS, Realtors are going to Zillow, or buyers are going to Zillow. They're going to, because it's immediate gratification. I'm not getting as many houses as I want to see, so let me go try to search online. And then, the problem with online is there's a lot of things that aren't accurate, but they're going to Realtor.com, they're going to Zillow, and if they see something that's as is investors only, they're not even taking a look at that property. I'm trying to create more opportunity for the houses that are out there.
Right.
What we have control over. This is what's there. How do we create more activity for those properties? And in the end, help a buyer.
Sure.
Help a contractor meet a new real estate agent, and make those relationships, because we talk about it all the time. Transactions are going to come and go. Relationships could be forever.
Definitely. And I feel like even if I'm a new realtor, trying to take that angle and go after those investment specialists, or starting to get listings where you have buyers and you marry the buyers to the house, to you, to the contractor, now you got a team.
If you're a contractor, you're a real estate agent that's showing a buyer the possibilities. How many agents are doing that right now? How many contractors are doing that? And I know you have software that can, visually show the client, but you got to get the client to your office. You got to get them here. You got to find the client, right? I'm talking about bridging that gap where we network together in small groups, big groups, whatever it may be, but just changing the mindset just a little bit to try to get a little bit more of the pie that's out there.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
You know what I mean?
I couldn't agree more.
We're not going to change the world, but if talking with me and collectively us sitting down with a contractor or a realtor, if you can get one more transaction per month, what is that going to do for your life? 12 more transactions per year. Maybe it's 6 transactions per year. What is that going to do for your life? Is that going to help put your kid to college? Is that going to help you buy the new house that you wanted, the new car, or maybe just pay your bills on time?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it'll definitely build that business up, and then you have another avenue coming in just based off of that. Now, realtors, I'm sure you've done with a lot, and the ups and downs and all that fun stuff. What is something that you look for in a realtor that's going to say, hey, I want to work with this guy or gal for a long time?
You can usually tell by having a conversation for a realtor that I've never met. You know what kind of person you're dealing with within the first 3 to 5 minutes.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
And
I want to work with people that are like-minded like me, that are put the customer first. Give to get. I'm not looking to pay for Zillow leads. Okay, that's just not me.
Right.
Okay.
That's called buying the realtor.
It's called buying the realtor.
Oh yeah.
I'm about building relationships, and I want to work with people that want to build relationships back.
Sure.
And that's the biggest thing I think I look for in any relationship that I work with.
Right.
Is this is a give and take, and
Sure.
we both need to benefit from this relationship. And sometimes relationships don't work out. It's okay. I don't have to work with every contractor and realtor and builder out there. I wish I could, but it's not humanly possible. I'm just looking to bring a little bit back to that networking realm, and changing the mindset a little bit to a few people.
Definitely. I think with me, the way I see realtors, 5%, 3% do 90% of the business.
I think it's like $40,000 a year the average realtor makes.
Yeah, I know, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I only knew that because I was going to buy one of the national brand realtor companies.
I remember talking to you about
that.
And back several years ago.
And then I saw the money. I was like, no, there's no money there. There's no way. Even at the top, it's hard. So, building that relationship and keeping that money going, it might look good from the outside, but you never know what's going on the inside. And again, they have slow markets, and then they have, very busy markets, and people get so tied up on the rate, it's 8% or 9%. Well, sometimes that's the best opportunity to buy a house at a discounted rate, because once those rates drop, and they will over time, they'll go up and down, that's when you refi and you really got a good deal.
Our motto for the last 2.5 years, let's just call it 2.5 years for this market, this time last year, I'm refinancing people right now that are at 8%, down to 6.75.
Sure.
And I'm just like, wow, that was quick.
Oh yeah.
But when you talk about the mindset of where these buyers are at and where they're going, it's endless, to really see where they're going to go. We saw this in 2020 when we had 2 to 3% interest rates, right? If interest rates drop 1 percentage point, the data is that there was another 5 to 7 buyers per house.
Wow.
Well, what do you think that's going to do to that house value?
Oh,
It's going to drive it up, right?
Right up.
There's going to be more people
Absolutely.
looking for the same product. So our philosophy over the last 2.5 years has been buy now, refinance later. I know it sounds cliche, but it's been something that's out there, and it's more prevalent now that you marry the house, not the rate. The
Right.
opportunities right now to buy a house or to renovate a house or to build new construction, that land's not going to be there in 5 years.
No. No.
You know what I mean? Somebody else is going to take that advantage.
Absolutely.
So, when we can collectively bring experts that do certain things together, we're going to grow together.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, we started getting into the new construction for ourselves. So that's like my next chapter. We got my first development come up in Mocha Hill. We had a density variance, got that approved. We bought 23 acres, supposed to be 2 acres per lot. That means 11 by right. That means I don't have to go get a variance, but we figure let's
awesome.
push it. And
Yeah,
we got an extra 4 lots, 3 lots,
Yeah.
whatever it may be. Which nets me a
A
nice.
variance department that meets, once a month.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the downfall there.
But you're paying on your money for
Oh,
it,
yeah.
like that's your money you're tied up for.
Absolutely.
Just one of the great things about, you talk about efficiency, how do, contractors and builders get paid on our new construction. Our draw schedule is done through AI. Okay, now how does that benefit you as a builder? You had a long week. It's Friday, 5 o'clock. You're like, oh crap, I didn't put in the draw for the Smith loan. It's 5:30. Literally with your phone, we have an app. You put in the draw request. Our inspectors are paid off of 12 to 24 hour inspections. So instead of you calling our concierge department Monday morning, okay, you put in the request at 5:30. Our concierge department's calling you back Monday morning. Sam, what bank account do you want that draw wire to?
That's great. That's phenomenal.
That's what I'm talking about is the efficiencies.
Sure.
That can really improve your business, and you can build a house what you're really good at. Let us get the money to the table for you.
Absolutely. So I'll tell you an experience I had. It wasn't you as the mortgage person. It was a realtor I didn't even know. And it was out of my little network, right? Because I like to work just in my network.
Yeah.
I get very, very apprehensive of doing anything outside of my networks just because of things like this, right? Inefficient mortgage person, bank sells to another bank. They have no clue. They've never done it before. I'm not against anyone that's new, but I'm all about working with people that have experience behind them or resources behind them. There was no callback, right? So the new bank I call, and I'm all done the job, and you only got it was like 50%. It was like under 30,000, 50%, up front, and then you get 50% in the end. So all permits done, everything done, customer sign off. They can't get anybody out there to inspect it. And I think something with the deed wasn't recorded. It was like 2 things that were it was a slow time for the deed to get recorded, and they don't have an inspector. How is that my fault? I just completed all this work for
did your job.
Your client, which you're collecting money on.
Yeah.
I'm a little contractor. I'm not a bank. Why are you making me wait for my money? And on top of that, you don't even have anyone to hire. They say, oh, we're looking to hire one now, a company. Like, how comfortable do I feel now that you're trying to hire somebody so they can inspect my job so I get paid?
Yeah.
After that, it left such a bad taste in my mouth.
Now you're just one contractor builder, right? Think about that across South Jersey. How many people have had those bad experiences working with, companies that didn't complete the transaction, didn't give them their money on time. They had to wait months
Sure.
for trying to get somebody in customer service to even talk to.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I don't have to be. The great thing about plugging into Cross Country's platform, I don't have to be a seasoned loan officer for 25 years, because like I said, we have an army in our new construction department. Okay, they've been doing this for 30, 35 years. They got the expertise on my shoulder, just saying, hey, let's walk you through how to do this.
Oh, yeah.
And make that builder happy, make that client happy, make that realtor happy. So that's where a lot of companies miss the boat, is they don't have the support staff behind them that can actually do the transaction the way it needs to be done. We can't change HUD, we can't change Fannie Mae guidelines. They're going to come and go. Okay, what we can do is know the guidelines and know what can and can't be done, so you don't have those mishaps.
Got it. So real quick, only because I know you've been doing this a long time. When you first started, what was your mindset going in? Because you might have came from a job where you get a regular paycheck. Going to it's sink or swim. There's no guaranteed check. What were your thoughts then and now?
It's still the same thought every month. I mean, it's still the same thought every month.
Yeah.
You hunt what you eat.
That's it. I love
You
that.
hunt what you eat.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
Some people just have it. Some people just don't. Well, what if I don't get paid? Well, that means you weren't working hard enough. That means you weren't getting in front of enough people.
Yeah, I mean, it's, the bills never stop. And actually through COVID and the last 2.5 years, it's really been a challenging time because my rent's not coming. The business has dropped. We've all lost, a market share in business and the bills keep coming. So this is some of the things that I'm trying to get out there. And I think the biggest thing is leveraging relationships.
Right.
If we leverage relationships together, we're going to grow business together. You can't do everything yourself. If you were a bank, that would be great. You can lend your own money. Sure. You don't need, you don't need title. You do it yourself. You got your own bank, your own, $10 million in reserve. So I think it just comes down to leveraging relationships. I'll tell you a really quick story. A lot of people think I was a finance major at Penn State. I was actually a graphic arts and photography major. I graduated in '99. And I was working for a small, photography company, taking pictures of kids and family photos. And I bought a Ford Explorer, put $40,000 or 40,000 miles the first year out. And I'm like, I'm making like $300 a week. This is not going to sustain itself long term. So I was on Monster.com with my resume. I get an invite to this job fair at the convention center. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to it. I'm getting suited up. I'm going to the Philadelphia Convention Center's job fair. It was all financial industries. I didn't know. I saw, pyramid schemes on, insurance companies, and I was just like, oh, I can't just go with my family, and now I'm an insurance agent, and I'm like all this kind of stuff. So I saw a sign for Upland Mortgage, and it was ABC Conduit, which was their commercial lending side. Went over to the two guys, Evan Siegel and Mike Roseman. I still remember the conversation vaguely in my mind, and I started talking to these guys. We're talking about the Eagles. We're talking about the Phillies. Some of the attractive women that were walking around in the job fair. And then, a half hour goes by and they're like, well, you want to come in for an interview on Monday? And I'm like, what am I interviewing for? Here, what I know, I knew shortly after, they just wanted to know if I had a personality. They could teach me how to do loans and the math behind it. They just want to see if I was likable.
Absolutely.
And could I get in front of people and kind of just have conversations and relate to them? My career started at that moment. And I've never looked back. And I've been commissioned ever since 2000.
I love that.
Every month.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right. I mean, listen, learning that whole trade, because you're very likable. They can come in and talk to you.
Yeah.
You're authentic.
Thank you.
You have empathy.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? And you're enthusiastic. So
Yes.
having those three things matched up together definitely makes you who you are.
Yeah, thank you.
So I just want to thank you for being on here
Yeah.
today. Thank you for coming on the podcast today, Relentless Podcast. We really appreciate everything that you do for everybody in this community.
Absolutely.
And have a great day.
You too, brother.